Eyup. It's 6 p.m. on Saturday. I've just watched Barnsley lose 2-1 to Huddersfield. I'm losing will to live. I just want to do this video now so I don't have to think about it next week. QPR 4, Derby 0. This was Friday night and I'm a married man these days, so I didn't get to watch this. But from what I heard and the odd bit that I saw after the game, it did look quite even. Like, it's the first game of John Hugh's reign of terror in it. Like, but Derby are just ass in general, unfortunately, and it comes down to players. Regardless of who's managing them, you could have God himself sat in dugout, but if them players are not good enough, then that's all it comes down to at the end of the day. He is just a freak. Elias Chair, mate, every time I watch this guy, he's so good. He's such a good player. I feel like the defensive unit as well that they've got is really tight now, and it's gone under the radar quite a bit how good definitely not Derby, how good QPR are at home. They are so solid. And then there's just this one piece of red in middle of it, and it's them. I don't care anymore. Let them go for all I care. We're shit. We're never going up again. The one thing that Derby could probably take from this is that it were, like, despite the scoreline, a fairly even game in terms of, like, the actual, like, the game itself. Obviously, highlight reel and score is the only thing that matters at the end of the day. But I do think they've given a decent-ish account of himself, regardless of the score. I don't think it's a 4-0 scoreline, how that game played out. But there's got to be big questions asked on why you've conceded 4 goals anyway. This lad looks like Kyle the Dragon. And you've got a lot of players here that just are not good enough at Championship. Osborne, Arnes, to be fair. A lot of them just aren't good enough, and that's what it comes down to. Mint win for QPR. Couple squeaky bottoms for Derby down at bottom, especially now with other like results that have happened earlier today. You might be coming back to Oakwell again next year, lads. And then I'll end up going to Pride Park and losing for the 5th time in a row. Cardiff and Bristol City were one apiece in early kickoff today. One of them little derbies. It's like a who hates Cardiff more between Bristol City and Swansea in it. And I remember looking at half time in this, and I'm sure Bristol City were like 1-0 up. Or after, when Bristol City were 1-0 up even, I'm sure I looked and they were in dizzy heights of 6th. Obviously now they're in 8th because they drew this game thanks to a 90th minute of the playoffs. No. And if they don't get in, Bristol City, other than it just being like club DNA to be immune from getting playoffs and Championship, this is why. Their away form this year has been honking shit. At home, playoffs. Away, mid-table ass. It ain't good enough. And then at the same time, like, Cardiff aren't exactly best team in the world at home. So from a Bristol City point of view, this is a game that you've almost got to go to and think, put an end to this shit run of form that we've got away from home specifically and win. A little bit of consistency for the first time possibly ever recorded in Bristol City's history. But no, it's a draw. It's a much better point for Cardiff, especially with some other results down at bottom today. But Bristol City, after getting leapfrogged by Coventry as well, I'm losing the will to live, me. I'm speaking, and there's something in the back of my mind that's twitching, and it's Barnsley a wank. Better point for Cardiff than Bristol City. Let's shift. My head is literally steaming. I feel like I probably shouldn't do this video right now, but I've just got to do it. Portsmouth, shake my hand because you are officially safe. Woo! Where are they now? Up to 18th. They're only 2 points off Oxford. They're nearly probably we all like certified mid-table brothers. Nice little gap now. 7 points and a win away. God forbid that Portsmouth actually do anything away from home. A little bit of consistency maybe. The performance were good against Sheffield United. Draw there at home to Burnley, who just draw away everybody and don't concede goals. Then a nice performance away at Sheffield United regardless of the result. Big win, 6-pointer down at bottom. And then another massive win against another like half-assed-ish relegation looking threatened side. But another big win regardless away from home. Good form, good performances. Nice. Decent owners. Oxford, don't worry, lads, it's fine. You're all right. Preston 0, Burnley 0. Really strange. Really strange. But everybody say it with me now. We do not care. Moving on. Blackburn 2, Plymouth 0. Every day that goes by, I'm a little bit more confident in thinking that Blackburn could do it. I've been so iffy all year with them. I've always been thinking like, oh, maybe they'll finish like your 8th-ish, something along them lines. But they are still chipping away very nicely. Plymouth have been so hard and so difficult to break down recently with these centre-halves that they've brought in. We speak about it a lot, like, because obviously we do these videos constantly, and I don't want to just sit here and repeat the same stuff. But the defenders are top-notch, these ones that they've brought in. They seriously are. But Blackburn have made a lot of very good chances. Dominated ball, which you'd expect, really. That's the sort of vibe that they've been going for all season. Regardless of the fact that Eustace has left, they're not going to change play style like that, are they, overnight? It's drilled into these players to play a certain brand, which they are doing, and they're doing it quite well. They're not stupid enough to keep doing it as well. They will lump it if they have to, and they've got nothing on. But dominated a lot at ball, a lot of shots, a lot of good shots as well at that. No, like, penalties in there either. Dolan, I really rate this man. I really do. I remember saying it earlier in the season, and I don't think he'd even scored it. We just off of the performance that he had. I really like this guy. Good player. Across board, looking nice. Defensively quite solid. Plymouth, again, won't be that worried here. The goal scoring could potentially be a problem, regardless of the 5-1 against Millwall. The defensive side of things seems to have been patched up now, and even Plymouth fans were commenting on that video saying, like, the real problem is the lack of goals, which I could maybe see. But, you know what I mean? You've got some big games coming up. A lot of the relegation-threatened sides are going to be playing you, and you'll not want to be going up against these sort of fellas, these brutes, these tradies at back that aren't footballers with the Wellington boots on. You will not want to be going up against them. So I would still say to not worry that much, Plymouth. But at the end of the day, it's like every day that I live is one that I shouldn't be given, because Plymouth fans in their mind must be thinking, I'm already dead. Like, for the past few months, it's been like, oh, whatever, we've lost. How many are we going to go and lose by today? And now they've been given this new lease of life, which they almost probably feel like they shouldn't have. They're already dead and buried. So every day that they're still chipping away and doing all right, good on you. I hope they do it. I hate football. Hull 1, Norwich 1. Sargent scored again. How many points would Norwich have if Sargent played in blue, for example? Would these even be like outside at relegation zone? Every goal that these score now since he's come back is him. Every single goal. Hull's home record is still shit. They've picked a point up against like an half-decent side, regardless of the fact that Norwich are in a tricky run of form at the minute. You've still got one of the best attacking lineups in division easily. So I feel like Hull would probably take a point here. Especially with the fact that over like the current bottom three all lost, didn't they? But the home form in general, regardless of this, has got to change. It really has, because if not, their away form's decent, but it's iffy. The whole form is worse in league by a mile. It's got to change if you want to survive. It has. Luton 0, Sheffield United 1 as well. That were a lot closer and probably a lot trickier for Sheffield United than anybody would have thought. I've only seen the stats. I've not seen the highlight from this game, to be fair. A lot of the like low scoring ones I've not seen highlights of, because it's like I got home from Barnsley game and then I've watched like the big ones, but a lot of them I've not had a chance to see, and I just don't care enough for a minute. My head's gone. Honestly, my head is still at Orwell. Luton looked like they made it quite difficult for him. There were a lot of chances Luton's end. Obviously, the stats might paint this as a completely wrong picture, so someone let me know. But Asgard looked like he had a really good lane for Luton, and Sheffield United have just, like, as they always have done this season, is ground something out and got something out of a game that we would probably lose, because the mentality of the squad that Sheffield United have got is, even if we're not playing that good, we know we'll get a chance and we'll probably take it, whereas ours are just a bunch of fucking fannies. It's so poor from Luton again, from a results point of view, but if the performance, it looks like the stats are saying, it's not end at world. Sheffield United are a really good side. Luton, I think they're doing bounce, man. I really do. I don't see a way out of it. They've not got the grit or the togetherness or the spirit, all the psychological side of things. They've not got, which is what got them promoted in first place and had them in fighting distance. Like, they were scraping all the way right until the last couple of games, weren't they? Whereas your Sheffield Uniteds and your Burnleys weren't. But it's gone. Luton have just not got the same identity that they had literally 12 months ago. I don't know why, either. Do players think they might be bigger than they are? We've had a season in Premier League way much bigger than Luton now, which they're just clearly not. I don't know. But Luton, these two could be 2 leagues apart by end of this season. Middlesbrough 0, Watford 1. Unfortunately, I don't think we will see Michael Carrick again. I think is harsh the wrong word? What is the word I'm looking for? I think Carrick could potentially be misunderstood, but at the same time, look at the 11 that they have got, man. Just look at it. Iheanacho, Premier League winner, I think. Is he a Premier League winner? Maybe not. I might have got that one wrong. No, I think he actually went and then they got him from Man City, didn't they? I think it was after that. Regardless, a lot of Premier League experience, a lot of goals. Fantastic striker, especially for this level. Doing naught since he's gone there. Aidan Hackney, Conway, Whittaker, this midfield. The defence as a whole is quite good. You've got some of these players on bench like Azaz, for God's sake, like Bergzoig, little boy D-Doyd coming off bench. Going up against a Watford side that, in all honesty, have looked tosspot for the longest. They've got some good players, some really good players. Where is he? This little man here, really good. He looks like he's had a good game as well, this loser. Good performance and they've ground it out nicely, but this is not a side that you think, oh no, Watford, spooky, we're going to play Watford at home. This is a side that if you want to get promoted, you think, yep, 3 points, come on, let's have it. But they're not doing it, either. They're not doing it. And Middlesbrough now find themselves in 11th, when I thought they were like almost a dead cert for playoffs for majority of this season. Especially when they went through that spell. We're at like January, end of December, January time, when they were just thrashing everybody. They scored like 15 goals in 3 games, 4 games, something like that. They were scoring for fun. They were creating so many chances. It's just gone. And I feel like players aren't playing for him anymore. And like they've created note, really. Watford have created more chances than him. Yeah, you've got more at ball. Congrats means note. Defending shit. The weakest piss. They've got absolutely no spine, no backbone. I think they've got a real lack of leaders, to be honest, in this squad, Middlesbrough. And you've got points from 1 game out of your last 7. So I think it could be a goodbye Michael Carrick. But it won't be surprised, or I won't be surprised even if he gets another job in Championship like fairly quickly. Just based on the fact that he plays nice stuff, one of them ones. But if you're not getting playoffs with this side, playoffs at least, by the way, then that is a massive failure because Middlesbrough have got a really good squad. Ah, yes. Fuck them all. Millwall. I hope they can get in because I'm going to Wembley. If Millwall get in playoffs, I'm going home and away. I don't care. They could play at Moon. I'm going. West Brom have just not been consistent at all, have they, recently? They've just not. And Millwall, I mean, West Brom's goal is a Joe Bryant own goal, which he's done in 2 consecutive games against Plymouth, which were really unlucky, the Plymouth one and this one as well. I don't think Millwall will get playoffs. I would love them to, obviously. And the more that West Brom keep playing, and mainly because of the form of another side, which I'm about to speak to, I don't know West Brom. Seriously, I don't know. It's another one. The standard, I think, as a whole at Championship, at the top end, is extremely low. I think the better sides in this division are generally not that good in grand scheme of things, and all of them, barring potentially Leeds, will definitely be coming straight back down. Whereas as a whole, like all your playoff chasing sides, the players and the names that they've got in this division this year are crazy. But they're just not doing it. None of the sides are sticking, really, despite the level of play that they've all got. Like, looking at, again, this West Brom side that's got Moat, Fellows, Madge is currently injured, but like Madger, Mikey Johnson, Armstrong, Grant off bench, Jed Wallace off bench. They're not scoring enough goals. And that has got to change with them sort of players that they've got. I remember when Moby come in and Armstrong were there, and I was like, wow, dead cert playoffs. I'm just going to stop speaking, Anna. One that I got definitely bang on, though, so long ago, when no one else believed. I was there. Coventry, baby! Come on. By all accounts, they didn't even deserve to win. This were one of Wednesday's better performances this season, which resulted in them losing game. It must be a South Yorkshire thing. Like, go and beat QPR away, then drop points to Luton, lose at West Brom, win against Swansea, lose at home to Coventry. This is so weird. But Coventry, mate, Frankie Lampshade's tricky Sky Blues are getting in there, and I believed. Look at him go. Mate, these were like 18th last month. I'm going to chop and change every week between the teams I support. I am now a Coventry fan. My Bristol City tenure lasted for one entire game, but I know what they're like. Coventry, I am with you. Go on. And also, the goalkeeping for this goal. Beadle as a whole, I think, is a good shot stopper. And his distribution's alright, in fairness, as well. Why is Bannon right wing? Beadle's shot stopping and everything is good. But he's got such... You know what? I've hit nail it here. Melier vibes. He will just drop a clanger out of nowhere for just no reason at all. And he's done another one there at 90th. No, Bernard as well. He's injured for like 6 months in here, I think. And he's the best defender. So... that do be stinking. Unlucky, lads. I can't even take piss out of him anymore, though. I actually just can't. And it's not even... I'm not even getting any cheap laughs. It's just sad now. Stoke 3, Swansea 1. Goal scoring has been a problem for Stoke, and so is creating chances, in fairness. They've not exactly done it again here. I do think this result is slightly papering of it cracks a little bit. I won't be surprised if Stoke still lose a few games for the rest of this season and are probably still scrapping right until last second despite this win. They've had none at ball, again, second this what you will, but they've had none at ball and they've had minimal amount of shots. Not exactly crazy goal-scoring opportunities despite the fact that they scored 3 goals. I think they've been very clinical here despite not playing that well in grand scheme of things. It looked a scrappy game from both sides, and at the end of the day, Swansea are absolutely shit. And also, you take your wins, don't you? You take your points at the end of the day. Stoke will be gassed with this. They've got 2 wins in the last 3 games. They will be gassed. But I do think they'll be dragged into it until the very end. Again, I said it on the last one. These are so lucky that there's a lot of shit in this league. So lucky. Because these will probably have the worst. I said bottom 3 in the last video. These might have the worst form till end of season and still stay up. Just because of the cushion that is there. But every game that goes by, you look at the 4 teams that are directly below them. They've all picked points on them. Again, every team is picking points up on them constantly. Let's have a look at form. I hope I'm backed up here by this and it's not just me waffling. Last 10 games, bottom 3. Last 5, bottom 3. What's the last 15? Bottom 4. Last 20. Alright, go away now. Let's look at the table! Okay. Luton are going down. Plymouth, I don't care. Derby. Ooh, Derby could be in trouble. I don't know. It's just like... It's Swansea down, excluding Portsmouth. Portsmouth are going to stay up. Oxford up are going to stay up. It is Swansea and the fellas downwards from Stoke below. Norwich have fallen off a cliff. Middlesbrough have fallen off of the moon. They're just miles off. It's a big win for Watford, but I don't think they'll get in there either. Wednesday, I was getting nervous for until the Bernard injury. That's quite tough. Coventry, nice. Bristol City just doing Bristol City things. West Brom, very inconsistent, and Blackburn are finding their feet a little bit now recently. We've got Leeds and Sunderland on Monday night. We'll be doing a watch along, so I'll see you here hopefully for that on Monday night. Burnley dropping points again, and the one difference I would probably say between Burnley and Sheffield United, I've been a firm believer for like a few months, I think, that Burnley will probably get second. I think it'll go Leeds, Burnley, Sheffield United, Sunderland, and I still do, despite the 5-point gap there. But the only thing that Sheffield United have got on Burnley is that Sheffield United don't draw a lot of games. Like, look at the draws. That's the main thing. 14 for Burnley and 6 for Sheffield United. The thing with Sheffield United is that even if they're not playing well, and they're not, like, maybe the defensive side of thing is obviously there for Burnley as well, but Sheffield United find a way to make a chance and take it, where a lot of the games Burnley don't. Burnley have broken the record for the amount of 0-0s in a season already. I think they're 2 in front, and we're in middle of February. It's one thing being able to grind a result out, which Burnley can obviously do because they've only lost twice all season. Do you know what I mean? But a point is much more valuable to you, and a draw is much more valuable to you when you're at this end of the table down here. When you're up here, a point means very little. You've got to be winning your games, or there will be a gap like this that forms really quickly. And that's the only thing that I think Sheffield United could, if they do get in second, have over Burnley. League One. Buckle up, this will be a laugh. Cambridge 0, Exeter 1. Exeter have been in horrendous form for months. But beating a shit side away at their place is going to give so much confidence. Near my point, it's going to change mentality at that dressing room. They'll be absolutely buzzed, that Exeter dressing room today. They will be gassed and they will be buzzed. Massive win. Massive 3 points. It gives them that little inch of breathing space that we've needed, which I'll show later on at table. I've just got that much to say with so much stuff coming up that I want to skim over this quite quickly. That you'd think that Exeter, especially with the home games coming up, could maybe just give himself a bit of breathing space. Whereas Cambridge, that's a game that you've almost got to win, just on the form that Exeter are currently in, and they're one of the sides that you want to drag into it a little bit. It's all right leaping over at sides that are already in relegation zone. You want to be able to drag sides in, and losing at home to one of them when they're in worst form of their life is not a good look at doing it. Northampton 0, Wrexham 2. Early kick-off a game, won it, so I've just seen these win before we've even kicked off. Not that it matters, because we're probably looking at, like, Cambridge and Exeter anyway at a minute. They've won 2-0, and they've got... Who scored the goals? Oh, Sam Smith. Brilliant. Rodriguez has played. Fantastic. Who's coming off bench? Oh, Fletcher. Okay. Who else you got there? Paul Mullin. That lump. Ollie Palmer. What's that? 7 striker rotation that are all better than ours. Great. Defence, solid as always. They're not giving Northampton a sniff all game. No shots on target. I'm going to put a timestamp on the video. I never do this because this could be 20 minutes long. I'm going to put a timestamp at the start and the end of the Barnsley segment for once. Here we go. This is the worst team I've ever seen. Ever. I have had a season ticket. I've missed 1 year in COVID. I've had a season ticket since I was 8. That is 15 out of 16 season tickets that I have had. on God himself, if I can summon the big man, if these owners spend 20 million quid each summer, I will not be there. I will not be there next season. I'm not going. I'm doing all aways next year. These owners will not get 1 pence from me for the rest of my eternity. You know what, as well? I got an email 2 days ago, an email from a company called Fanatics, which one of our owners has a majority stakeholding in, I think, and they wanted me to do some ads and some commission shit for him with Barnsley stuff. They got one of these ones. You think I'm doing ads for these owners of other companies? That's about off. And before I've been like, I don't want to go at players too hard. Now I'm going at players because that was fucking embarrassing. There's nothing. The owners are the major problem with this club. Major, like 90% problem. You've probably got like a 2% Clark problem with manager. He'll probably be sacked, which is just even more embarrassing. But the players, you Clark or the owners or me, none of us can run onto pitch and defend for him, can they? And if you are just watch the second goal, please. The first one's embarrassing anyway because it's from our free kick. Referee embarrassing, but it's from our free kick. We should have had another one because Humphrey's got an elbow to face, but just whatevs. Lol. And then they've gone down, counter-attacked and scored. The second one, it is a free kick from like throwing. It's literally from byline. It's bounced 8 times. Keeper. It's already in, and then he dives. Oh, fantastic. The defending is so bad. It's worse than Sunday League. It's shit. Let's keep it above 50 right now and go through who I actually like in this team. I don't care about you. Dijavinia, I don't care. Pines, go away, please. Earl, I think apparently he's acting good and getting it big in after the game. Shows absolutely no faith on pitch ever 24/7, but then wants to act big man with fans after the game. Fantastic. None of this defence are top 6 worthy. We're not even talking about like, oh yeah, a couple of championship lads in here. So when we inevitably go up at some point, they'll be able to slot straight in. No, these aren't even good enough to get in playoffs in first place. This Ferrugia, I actually quite like. Respect to this man. Quite like him. Umwakali, baller. Serious player, this lad. Russell. O'Keefe, again. Oh, God. It's the standards. I actually quite like him. So I'm not going to go in that much. Rodriguez, I just feel sorry for this lad, in all honesty. Humphreys, I need him to start pulling trigger a little bit more, because it's alright doing all this fancy shit and buying fouls 24/7, but if you're a striker and you're not going to press B button, then what's the point? And then, oh my God, the only player I care about. Oh my God. If he leaves, I'll lose my shit. He's only player on this pitch that I care about. Please don't go, please. All these lads coming off bench. We've got Morrison's coming off as well. I just don't like. I've got nothing to say about him at minute. Dyer didn't even get a sniff, but he's only a kid. So, again, nothing to say there. Phillips' wife has given birth, so that's fair dues. And Connell's injured, I think, so that's 2 better players and only players worth even a bag of crisps that aren't there. But the good thing is, the best thing, actually, about being in this division, apart from going into all, like, shit away ends 24/7, I quite like that. The best thing in terms of the players that you get in this league is that you never sign anyone on like really long contracts, are you? So thankfully, when it comes to summer, hopefully 7-ish of that team are never seen again. Hopefully, that's the only thing I'm holding on to, because none of them, barring 2 or 3 of that team that I'm looking at right now, are good enough to play in division above or even have a sniff again into playoffs. Because we are on the 15th of February, we're in League One, and our season is over. It has never been this bad in my life supporting this club. As for Huddersfield, I thought they were shit and all, you know. Honestly, they were crap and all. Charles, he is not the same lad that he were at Bolton. He looks absolutely wank. Kane looked up for it, to be fair, but it were always going to be like a Kane versus Russell in terms of like the 2 teams that they've played for in right now. But I thought Kane put him centre-back. To be fair, to say he's a fat alcoholic, he played quite well. But yeah, it's more about us being absolutely abysmal than it is about Huddersfield being good. Because despite the fact that they're in playoffs, they could be looking over his shoulder a little bit because they weren't good. And no Huddersfield fan can look at that and be like gassed with that performance, surely. Good result, good win for you. You're abusing disabled lads. Congrats. But that you can't be happy with that performance, surely. Right, segment over. Birmingham 1-0. that were always going to be a tough, scrappy game for him because Charlton had lost in ages. And Birmingham are not the biggest scorers you've ever seen. It were always going to be a low-scoring game and a tricky one. But it just shows quality of the Birmingham, doesn't it? Because Charlton have been fairly comfortable, I would say, in a lot of the games recently, especially the ones that they've won. They've not been winning and like or scraping past somebody. Regardless of like the minutes and stuff that the goals have been going in, the performances that Charlton have had recently have been really solid and ones that you would expect from Nathan Jones or Nathan Jones' side. But it does show the quality and the difference in levels between Birmingham and everybody else in this division, because it's just effortless almost for them. They never get out of second gear, really, and it's just win, 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 win. Could see Charlton being in there though. I'm not gonna lie to you. After recent performances and recent weeks, could definitely see Charlton being in there in May. Blackpool 3, Mansfield 3. Niall Lennis scores. We've been after him for about 6 years. I mean, it's put an end to like Mansfield's horrific run of form recently. But what is wrong with these guys? What are Blackpool doing? This, again, like I said about Bristol City, the reason that they're not getting in is because they're away form. The reason that Blackpool are not getting in is because they cannot buy a flipping hecking win. They cannot buy a win these days. Especially against a side coming to your place with this run of form. If you can't beat that, man, then I'll see you next year. We'll put it that way. I'll see you next year, boys. Bristol Rovers, Burton, 3-1. That's massive down at bottom because when was the last time Burton lost? They've been unbeaten for a long time. Bristol Rovers, it's a huge win. Like I said about the Cambridge and Exeter, these are sides from a Burton perspective that you want to be dragging in. So losing to them sort of teams that are just on cusp is so. It must be very demoralising that from a Burton point of view, that you've been unbeaten for so long, for like at least like 8 games, I would say, to then go and lose against one of the teams that you really need to be taking points off. All bottom 3 lost, didn't they? So Shrewsbury lost, Burton lost, and Cambridge lost. The one that got a point out of everybody, which is probably the most surprising one, is Crawley. They got a point off Wickham. But Wickham they've dropped off a little bit, recently. I think I've just jinxed them because I said I think they're going second, so they've been done. Unlucky lads. Managed to keep all the best players. They managed to get like Caleb Taylor back on loan as well from West Brom for second half of the season. Really good centre half from so far. But then they've just not been hitting the same sort of rhythm, have they? Since deadline day did finish. And especially when other sides below them keep constantly churning out points, like Wrexham and then Stockport have just come flying out of nowhere, really. You've got to be beating Crawley away, lads. You have. Massive point for Crawley because they're only side in bottom 4 that's got a point, even though the few teams above him have got some as well. But that's a huge point for Crawley. Leyton Orient's form is crazy at the minute. I think I'll talk about this one more when we look at table at end. Leyton Orient and Lincoln. We'll come back to that one at end. Same as Reading and Rotherham, to be honest. I want to jump straight to this. The Shrewsbury 2 Bolton 3 game. Again, not a lot of chances going on. Not a lot of high quality chances even. There's lots of shots, like 15 and 12, but not a lot of high quality chances. XG and stats in general, I just think are shit. To be quite honest with you, stats bore me. And it's a lazy man's argument to look at something and say, well, they had more shots, so lol, better side. Looked a very even game from what I saw on highlights afterwards and what the fans and that were saying. McAtee's got 2 goals. Bit of investment in your club, lads. Oh, I wish we weren't being left to die. It's really unlucky from a Shrewsbury point of view, but I won't be too disheartened based on like the performances and the teams that you have actually been playing recently. Bolton and no mugs. I'm not bothered what the recent like scores and that are saying. Who cares about that one anyway because it's in that cup. Schumacher is going to make these a force. He really is. And even if they don't get in, with this same level of squad that they've got now, next season, say if Bolton and Huddersfield don't go up, I think regardless of who comes down, you're going to be looking at them 2 sides with the squad that they've got and the manager that they've got that will be up and in it next year, definitely. 4 wins out of the last 5 games. There's no shame in losing this game. I still think they will be fine. The gap is only now 4 points, which we'll come and look at the end, actually. And you know what? I'm going to do the same with that. Stevenage and Peterborough. We're going to look at like a lot of this at end. And I want to look at the main ones again, which is the last game in League One, which is Wigan 0, Stockport 2. This is massive. They got 2 late goals in the... Yeah, Lewis Bate and Will Collar got 2 goals late on. The run of form that these are on, they've come flying out of nowhere. They were in playoff picture all season anyway, weren't they? I'm not saying they've come from like 20, like a Coventry sort of thing, where they've come from literally nowhere to just started like flying up. Oh, you nearly got me then. These have been in and around like 5th to 10th fish, probably all year. But then they have seriously turned it on big style recently. It's another massive win. I know Wigan's recent form and their own form especially is not all that. But defensively they're quite good for most part. And to get 2 late goals, big old character. Surprised he didn't score because he looked like Drogba against us. He's a mint player. The midfield's so tidy. They're structured well, defensively solid. They're looking good, baby. But then to actually look at this, so the bottom 3 all dropped points. Cambridge, Burton, and Shrewsbury all lost. Only Crawley and Peterborough got a draw from 18th down. Exeter and Bristol. Oh God, sorry lads. Exeter and Bristol Rovers are 2 sides that have been like slowly just like lowering and lowering for quite a while, and being the 2 sides or 2 of the sides that you would expect to be dragged into it seriously if the bottom 4 can continuously to pick up points. But then the wins here are massive. Another points tally, like you're looking at Mansfield at 38. There's a 3 point. God, they've dropped off, haven't they? You're looking at 35 points down because what? Crawley are then 7 points off any of these sides at any given time. So Exeter down is what you're looking at. But Exeter and Bristol Rovers, you think now with them big wins, Exeter especially, I think could probably kick on now. Bristol Rovers have been picking points up in the last few weeks anyway. Wigan, the game's in hand. I know it don't mean anything, but the game's in hand and the cushion you think will be okay. Northampton have won the last 2, but then lost 2-0 to Wrexham. I won't be that disheartened by this. I still think, despite the draw away at Stevenage, which is a very hard place to go, so I will give them that because it's a big point there. And I'm not taking piss. Stevenage are an horrible side to go and play at their place. They don't concede a lot of goals. That's a big point. But they are still the side to aim for, I think, for all at bottom 4. And especially when you look at some of the games that they've got coming up, Huddersfield away is a tough one. You've then got Shrewsbury at home, who are one of the more likely sides to get out, if any. Blackpool aren't lost in ages. Wickham going for top 2. Another 6-pointer there. Charlton, really good side at minute in 4. A playoff team, a 6-pointer, a 6-pointer. Guaranteed loss. Really, really hard fixtures coming up when it's at business end of season as well. Peterborough, I still think, despite the point today, are the ones in trouble. And then going up, well, we're looking at Reading upwards now because there's a clear gap there with worst team in England and Reading. There is a 6-point gap, so you're looking at 9th up for your playoff picture. And it is tough to call, you know. It really is. Like the points from there upwards is so close. I think it's fair to say now that Birmingham have won league and everybody can accept that. Wickham are dropping a few points recently, where Wrexham and Stockport are winning those sort of games. Huddersfield, I think the gap is probably too big now to look at top 2, and the fact that they were absolutely shit today despite the win. They could be ones that's looking downwards a little bit. Leighton Orient, though, they just keep winning, don't they? They keep winning. They don't concede loads and loads of goals. They're on 27 still for the season, which is one of the best ones in league, in fairness. And the scoring to match, I don't know. I don't want to call it. It's not something that I want to call. It's just something that I want to stop looking at because Barnsley crap. And that's that. It's a rant, I know, and it's not the same quality that I would like to aim for on this channel today, because I've just got monk on, boys, and I can't even hide it. Make sure you like and subscribe if you did enjoy, please. If you like looking at this face, be upset. Thank you as always for watching. Love you all, and I'll see you in a bit. Kiss.
I say I'm a man, yes, I'm a mucker. I think of me saying as a right good looker. I say up that. Show us bit it.